Hey everyone, Dan with Mac Rumors, and in this video, we're going to take a look at Microsoft's Surface Laptop 2 and compare it to the latest MacBook Air. The 2018 MacBook Air and the Surface Laptop 2 were released right around the same time. Like the MacBook Air, the Surface Laptop 2 is meant to be minimal and lightweight, so it's easy for you to carry around to the office, to meetings, and while traveling. There are quite a few similarities between the Surface Laptop 2 and the 2018 MacBook Air, so which one is right for you? Now, the obvious answer always lies within the operating system and what products you use in conjunction. Obviously, if you're an Apple fan and you use iPads and iPhones, you're probably going to want to stick with a Mac. And the same applies for those who heavily prefer the Windows operating system. So for this video, let's not focus on operating system, and instead we'll look at each machine objectively to see what they have to offer. So from a design standpoint, both of these machines are beautiful and minimal, and they all have a premium feel to it. And it's hard for me to find better looking laptops right now on the market. For me, the Surface Laptop 2 features the design that I tend to like the most. The matte black color looks great, even though it attracts some fingerprints and smudges. Now, my preference for the Surface design could be because space gray, gold, and silver have been our only color options for the MacBooks for a while, and the colors offered from Microsoft are fresh and something new. But it's not just color that makes the laptop an attractive option. The precision aluminum design, the minimal Microsoft logo, and of course, when you open it up, the fabric keyboard are all very appealing. It feels nice to rest your palms on that fabric while working for longer periods of time, and when I'm wearing a watch, I don't worry about whether my metal band is scratching up the aluminum like on my MacBook. That sounds weird, but it's a real issue for me sometimes. With that said, the Surface 2 laptop isn't perfect. The keyboard material is fantastic, and it's probably the better option of the two laptops, but I do prefer the new butterfly keys on the new MacBooks, even if I am in the minority on that point. Apple also wins when it comes to the trackpad. Most Windows laptops that I've tested have pretty bad trackpads, but Microsoft usually has the best of the bunch. Once you experience a Force Touch trackpad, however, it's really hard to go back to a physical click. I don't like how I accidentally activate the right click on the right side of the Surface trackpad, and much prefer Apple's two-finger click to activate the right click menu. I also like that I can click just about anywhere on the trackpad on a MacBook Air, and it feels the same and it's easy to accomplish. This is not the case on the Surface laptop. Now, like I mentioned, it's a good trackpad for Windows PCs, but it's just not anywhere close to what a MacBook can offer. The absolute worst thing about both of these machines, however, is the port situation. Or should I say lack thereof. The MacBook Air offers two Thunderbolt 3 USB-C ports and a headphone jack. That's it. If you use one for charging, that leaves you with one for a hard drive, charging your iPhone, or a dongle for more inputs. It sounds bad, but it's a lot worse on the Surface Laptop 2. On the left side, you get a USB Type-A port, which is great and something that I wish the MacBook Air had at least one of. But you also get a mini display port, which is just weird, and there's a 3.5mm headphone jack. And then if you go to the right side, you'll find your proprietary Surface connector, which is what you use to charge the laptop. Yeah, it's not great. You swap out that mini display for USB-C and move charging to USB-C instead of the Surface connector, and you have yourself a winner. I really do not need a mini display port in 2019, and I have no clue why they included it. I understand ports are a premium for a laptop this thin, but come on. Speaking of thin, both laptops are slim, lightweight, and very portable. The Surface Laptop 2 weighs 2.76 pounds, while the MacBook Air is 2.75. So yeah, the difference is negligible, and they're both perfect travel laptops. What else makes these two laptops perfect for traveling is battery life. Both of these machines can get around 10 to maybe 12 hours of battery life while doing everyday tasks like email, web browsing, Google Docs, Sheets, etc. That's been my primary use case with each machine, as well as a little content consumption, and they've both lasted for a long time. As for displays, both look fantastic. The 2018 MacBook Air was finally updated with a 13.3-inch Retina display with a resolution of 2560 by 1600. The Surface Laptop 2 features a 13.5-inch 2256 by 1504 resolution pixel-dense display with a 3:2 aspect ratio. Now that's important because I haven't used a lot of 3.2 laptops, and I enjoyed this ratio for productivity. Now I do tend to lean towards the MacBook's display in terms of color accuracy and overall sharpness, but there's absolutely nothing to laugh at when it comes to the Surface Laptop 2's display. Finally, some last little side notes. Speakers on each machine can get shockingly loud, and they sound pretty good at high volumes. The MacBook Air is very crisp and clear at 100% volume, while the Surface Laptop 2 can almost match volume levels, but the location of the speakers makes high volume sound worse. The speakers are hidden underneath the keyboard, which is an impressive design considering how good they sound, but when at a high volume, you can actually hear some noise coming from what I believe are the keys rattling, and it sounds kinda bad. Keep it at a normal and respectable volume, however, and it's all good, so just something to keep in mind. Windows Hello is front and center for biometric authentication, and I really like the convenience of using my face to unlock my computer. I hope Apple can one day include Face ID to its computers, but for now, Touch ID is a pretty decent alternative, which beats using a password. Our last side note, performance on both machines has been really solid. I can't say that I've ever been able to push the Surface Laptop hard enough during normal use to even turn the fans on, and the same applies to the MacBook Air. Both machines have modest specs for this size category, but not necessarily for the price point. You're probably not going to do a lot of gaming on a Surface Laptop 2, or coding, or video editing, etc. Just like the MacBook Air, it's definitely capable of doing some of these things, just not at a rate where you'll want to do it all day, every day. I found that both are useful in a pinch when I need to do some light editing or Photoshop work, but neither is going to be my main machine for that purpose. And that's not a bad thing at all. It's not what they're meant to do. So if I had to choose between these two machines, and keep in mind we are leaving software out of this equation, I'd probably pick the Surface Laptop 2. There's nothing it can't do, it looks and feels great to work on, and even though both of these laptops perform very similarly, I preferred the Surface Laptop's 3:2 aspect ratio, Windows Hello facial recognition, and typing on the keyboard with the Alcantara fabric is a really pleasant experience. Now, this is all personal preference, but factoring in all of this previously mentioned features and keeping in mind the $200 to $300 price difference between the Surface Laptop 2 and the MacBook Air, it just kind of makes it an easier decision for me. The i5 256GB of storage and 8GB of RAM Surface Laptop 2 model comes in at $999 at the time of this video, while the same configuration for the MacBook Air starts at $1399 on apple.com, although to be fair, I've seen it slightly cheaper on other websites. Now, if you ask the macOS fan in me, I'd go with anything Mac related because I've been using macOS for years. Yeah, it has its quirks, but I haven't found anything in Windows that really makes me want to switch over besides Microsoft's excellent hardware. As good as their hardware is, it's not enough to deter me from the software that I enjoy using, at least not right now. So go ahead and let us know what you think of each of these laptops in the comment section down below, and also be sure to let us know if you want us to compare more machines, like something like the Surface Studio to the iMac Pro, in the comments as well. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.